folks, for another edition of On the Ball Report. And of course, we look at the Philippine happenings, and we look at the international happenings as well. And this, to help us through this, we always welcome back from Toronto, Canada, media, industry, professional, Alf De Blasis. And you can write me the check later for that intro, Alf. Welcome to the program.
Absolutely, I will do so. Thank you, Peter. Nice to be back on with you.
Well, one of the unfortunate things that's happened overnight is the passing away of Maradona at the age of 60.
Yes, one of the greatest players the game has ever seen, arguably perhaps even the greatest. And so many accolades have come down over the last number of hours. From not just football players, but sports figures in general. I've seen remarks and tributes coming from various corners of the world, from so many different footballers and other athletes, including Rafa Nadal, the tennis player from Spain. What is there to say? I mean, he achieved just about everything there was to achieve in the game, right? I mean, he did win a World Cup in 1986. He single-handedly carried that Argentina team to a World Cup championship in Mexico '86, which I'm sure you'll remember quite well. He took them again to the final in 1990, Italia 90. And he appeared at another World Cup in the USA in 1994, and then, of course, at the club level, led his club Napoli to his Italian club Napoli to two Italian championships, and of course that was the peak of his career. That's where he's best remembered. But let's not forget, he actually started his European career at Barcelona. Before moving on to Napoli and then returning to Spain for a season in Seville before going back home to Argentina. So just a tremendous figure who obviously had controversies follow him around, for years, year upon year, given that he had a bit of a propensity to dip into substances, let's call them, and that, of course, is well known. But he was an individual who obviously commanded a lot of respect from his peers, and of course he made an appearance here in Toronto. You might remember, Pete, back in the
Alf, I wanted to bring that up, but just I couldn't believe it. We had, obviously, you and I have commentated and actually played for the media sides at this stadium called Birchmount Stadium, which is in Scarborough, Toronto. And Maradona, I was up in the stands trying to follow it. They built some extra stands. It was about almost 5,000 screaming fans. Right. And I always remember Maradona took a corner kick, the ball went straight into the net, and he sprinted off the field to the changing room for safety. You must remember that.
I do. Boy. I do. In fact, it was one of the highlights of my journalistic career as well, having the pleasure to follow Diego up close in what will be a match that I'm sure over the years, thousands and thousands of people said that they were there, but really it was a very small venue, as you recall, and they did add the additional bleacher seats. But we were some of the fortunate ones to have been actually at the venue to watch, watch his display. And I mean, obviously he was at the tail end of his career. It was a period of time where, if you recall, his younger brother Lalo had come over to play here in Toronto, and he made kind of a stop to Toronto on his way back to South America, and we were, as I said, some of the more fortunate football reporters at the time to have watched him in person.
Actually, through a contact. Giorgio, who was an Argentine player, and actually he came and toured in Yorkshire and played against Leeds United as I was a kid growing up.
Right.
He got me in to do a one-on-one with Maradona, and I was panicking, thinking, I can't speak his language. You know, the sweat was rolling. What do you ask an international star? And I went in and I sat down, and he sat there almighty, and I was surrounded with 5 international cameras from Argentina. There was magazines covering. There was.
Did you actually manage to get a question in? Because
I did actually. I said, "How are you?" He went, "Good." So that was the end of question 1.
Yeah.
But he did speak a very, very small amount of English, and he asked me if I wanted an autograph. Now you know, Alf, that in Canada, that's one thing as a reporter, you never ask for signatures, etc. So I didn't have anything with me, so he asked somebody in his language to get a shirt. So they got this shirt, and it was a Canadian national team shirt, and he signed it, Diego Maradona. My youngest son has it in his collection there. So I learned a big lesson. But stepping back, I always remember him going to Napoli. It was pre-season. Well, no, not even pre-season. I think it was summertime. Just guide me on this. He came into the Napoli stadium with on a helicopter.
Yeah, he was introduced in front of 75,000 people. It was a sold-out stadium just to watch his introduction to the club. And you know, that kind of affection stayed with him throughout his entire career at Napoli.
When you're such a prestigious young guy playing the game you love, and he was the god in Argentina of football.
Sure.
And he came from a village, and his education perhaps isn't at the college level. And he had a lot of hangers-on, and I saw it in Toronto, and you shake your head. And then we wonder why he got into some very, very bad areas of, when we say drugs, they were not good for him. And then he got involved in a shooting in Napoli. Do you remember that? He fired a gun, I think, at a media person. Oh, geez.
And also fathered an illegitimate son in an extramarital affair. So, yeah, I mean, you know, as I said before, controversy was never far from where Diego Maradona was, you know, wherever he would land, it would follow him along. But his, you know, his legacy will remain at Napoli because, as we know, his number 10 is retired permanently at that club. No one else can wear that number. And I've just read over the course of the last number of hours that there's apparently a suggestion, a recommendation to rename the Napoli stadium, which is called the San Paolo, to rename it in his honor, which is something that, you know, as I said before, comes back to the affection that the people of that city had for Diego Maradona, for the years that he played there, and led them really to their only 2 championships ever in Italian history.
He did tell me through an interpreter after we tried to do the interview, which was chaos. He said to me he liked what he saw of Toronto. He was pleased that his brother was with his family, and they were going to apply to be Canadians. Because the brother wanted his children to be educated in Canada.
Of course.
But, I mean, as a brother, what big shoes fill. I mean, no matter where you went, it was always, how's your brother doing? Maradona. I mean...
And if you remember, I mean, you know, Lalo came here in the mid to late 90s, if I recall, with a lot of fanfare, obviously, because of the name and because of, you know, where he had been playing in Argentina. And of course, he really never lived up to the potential. And he played a number of years within the Toronto Italia organization at the what was regarded at the time as semi-pro level in the National Soccer League. But you might recall he also played indoors for a period of time with a team called the Shooting Stars. way back
very
when.
well.
Yes, and with our good friend, and he also performed, on the indoor stage as well as the outdoor stage. So he was quite a versatile player, but really could never live up to the legacy that really his brother had carried for all those years.
Yeah, exactly. Now, obviously, Barcelona was one of his trips, and he did pretty well at Barcelona. And just educate me on, I think he played 32, 36 games, and he scored, 20 plus goals?
Yeah, he had a terrific season that very first year at Barcelona. Was one of the leading scorers in the club. But as I recall, there was a disagreement with the management at the time, and it led to the move to Napoli very quickly, which was surprising, because you would have thought that he would have been able to stay within that club because of the prominence of Barcelona at the time and the prominence of the Spanish league. And it was unusual to see a player choose a club in a city like Naples and a club like Napoli, but in addition to him, from that move, Napoli was able to recruit so many more Argentine players and other South American players and Brazilians that joined him on the team. And really the club, once he got there, they were able to recruit so many other top name players, and that team became one of the forces of Italian football for many, many years. And of course, they were also very strong on the European stage. So it was quite a turning point, actually, for Italian football at the time, because Maradona really, carried that club, and by extension, the entire league, to new heights while he was there.
Mm-hmm. Hold that thought, Alf. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this message.
You know what? Welcome to the world's greatest game of football. You can be smart, you can play smart, whatever your sport. You dress like a pro for your favorite football team. It could be the shirts, the shorts. Best in selection, best in price is Bad Beat Sportswear. It's your team selection. Bad Beat Sportswear is your winner.
Well, welcome back, and our very special guest is from Toronto, Canada. It's Alf De Blasis. Alf, coming back to Barcelona, coming back to Maradona. Maradona leaves, and now we bring it up to date, and we got Messi's problem until next year. And I just wanted to slip that in. Do you think Messi will leave the club and come into the EPL?
Every indication seems to be pointing in that direction. It's obviously, as we know by now, it's no secret that Messi did want out of Barcelona. He felt that he was, in some way over. His contract situation was not clarified, and he felt that he had the ability to leave the club this past summer. The club had other intentions, and they forced him to stay. He did stay because he is a professional, and he will see out the remainder of his contract. But I don't know, because of the current situation at Barcelona, in that they are looking obviously for a new president. The board is about to vote for what will be a brand new man at the top there, and it's not necessarily a given that person will be able to mend the fences and convince Messi to stay on at Barcelona. And I do think that there's something to be said about the Man City rumors. They continue to be at the forefront of this pursuit whether it's something that is real and tangible, or whether it's just a series of rumors that perhaps the tabloids in Britain have brought to the forefront. But I do think there's something there, partly because of the fact that, as we know, Pep Guardiola just recently signed an extension with Man City, so he's staying put for a while. And you can imagine that if that's the case, Messi would be more than happy to join his countrymen at a club that obviously has the finances and the wherewithal to spend whatever it is required to spend in order to bring him to Manchester, and in order to pay him a salary that he would probably command. Even at his advanced age, there's no question that he's going to command probably one of the highest salaries in the EPL. But I do think there's something there.
With the, as you pointed out, the manager extension, 2 more years at City, you've got to think, well, hey, he's got to take Messi to the club there. Alf, before I let you go, the big news, FIFA news, and I'm going back to my interview and story break on Sepp Blatter when he got into a lot of problems with money, and, Michel Platini was paid a consultancy fee. It was very complicated, very messy. Now we see Ahmad, president of the Confederation of the African Football, he's been banned 5 years by FIFA for accepting, they call it gifts. So what is a gift? Could it be a private plane, a motorbike, a luncheon, Jolly Bees, or
any number of things?
Or could it be questionable funds? What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's not the first time. Obviously, an individual within the sort of FIFA family has been singled out, and brought the name of FIFA into ill repute. Of course, there have been countless number of individuals, even in this part of the world. And you might remember a name, Jack Warner, from the Caribbean, who was another individual who was called out and had to pay for his crimes as well. So it's I think the key thing here is that under the current structure, that FIFA cannot be seen as an organization that allows this type of bribery, if you want to call it that, to exist. And they have to find a way to remove these individuals from the organization as quickly, as expeditiously as possible, because you just don't want these types of individuals to sully the name of FIFA, particularly with an organization that is held in fairly high esteem and has one of the most prominent tournaments and organizations and events in the world. So I think that FIFA will continue to sort of root out individuals who have a dubious past and have been known to take part in these types of exchanges, and good on them, because I think under Gianni Infantino, FIFA's come a long way from the likes of Sepp Blatter and the years that things had progressed, and perhaps individuals turned a blind eye to situations that were going on behind the scenes. But I think under this new boss, under Infantino, who's actually been there now for a number of years and seems to have calmed the waters a bit, and I'm hopeful that more of that will continue.
Alf, as always, we've got to bring you back on and find out how the world is operating with FIFA. Oh, it's good to see Qatar Airlines. They're already pushing the 2022. We are the official flying carriers of the World Cup, which is great. But once again, Alf, we thank you for your time. Our guest, folks, is media, industry, professional. What a bloody mouth, please say. Alf De Blasis. Alf, you take care. We'll check on with you very, very soon.
You too, Peter. Thank you so much for having me on. Take care.
Pleasure. It's always a pleasure. De Blasis, what more can he say? There he is, the $1 million coverage from Canada there, or Toronto, anyway. We'll take a short break. Stay with us.
You know what? Welcome to the world's greatest game of football. You know, you can be smart, you can play smart, whatever your sport. You dress like a pro for your favorite football team. It could be the shirts, the shorts. Best in selection, best in price is Bad Beat Sportswear. It's your team selection. Bad Beat Sportswear is your winner.
Welcome back. First of all, I want to say thanks to our production team, Ian, Ben, Renee, myself, Peter Irvin, who would like you to tune in next week, of course. And don't forget, we are the voice of Philippine football, and you have a safe week.
Share, like, subscribe, and ring the bell for news, interviews, breaking stories. Thanks for watching On the Ball Report.